Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. That's the fight we want to see. Will it happen next? I don't believe it does. I'm going to give you 5 reasons why. Welcome to Fight Club 24/7. My name's Johnny Rashman. Right, let's get straight into it. Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua. Will it happen next? I don't believe it does. Let's give you 5 reasons why. Number 1. It's too soon for a November fight. Right, there's been conflicting reports about the offer. Is it December? Is it November? I saw a journalist online saying he spoke to Eddie Hearn last night and apparently they received an offer for November. I believe November the 12th. November the 12th, I believe. Apparently Eddie Hearn said it's too soon. They want it in December. AJ has stated he'll be ready for December. Let's look at the reasoning behind this. Tyson Fury fought in April. Right, had a relatively easy fight against Dillian Whyte. It wasn't the fight it should have been. Right, he never got out of first gear. Right, and it was over within 6 rounds. Got out of there. He's not had a tough fight since. Right, AJ's just fought in August. Right, now people may say it wasn't a physically grueling fight. It was mentally grueling, and the heat and the humidity there, that was a physically draining fight. It was, and especially with someone with AJ's body. You know, he's not a 12-round fighter, so that it was a physically demanding fight and a mentally demanding fight. And people don't realise it's not just the fight, it's the training camp, it's the nervous energy. You know, he was literally preparing for this fight for a year, right? Is he going to be ready for a fight in November? Especially the magnitude of this fight. This is maybe the biggest fight in boxing. It's certainly up there. Right, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua will always be a monster fight. So is he going to have back-to-back fights against Usyk and Anthony and Tyson Fury a few months apart? I don't believe that's going to happen. I don't believe that's going to happen. So it is definitely too soon for a November fight. Is it too soon for a December fight? Look, if you want to be a heavyweight champion of the world, you have to take what you're being offered. But I just can't see it. I think the fight of this magnitude, I think it's too soon. Number 2, location and venue. Right. This will be one of the major stumbling blocks. Now, we've all heard Tyson Fury and Frank Warren say they want it in the UK. Right, Eddie Hearn has come out yesterday on TalkSport and said basically it's unusual for fighters to take less money. This fight will be bigger in different countries. He's basically saying this fight needs to be in the Middle East. That's what he's saying, right? He's got an exclusive deal with Abu Dhabi, right? DAZN have literally thrown money at AJ. They've literally got a load of cash. Whose is it? I don't know. And thrown it at AJ, right? So they want to get that money back. They ain't going to get that money in England. They ain't going to get that money in America. It only exists in the Middle East. Now, Eddie Hearn might not say it in so many words, but that is the cold, hard fact. This fight can only happen in the Middle East. I'll hold my hands up if I'm wrong, right? It should be in England. It has to be in England. It's disgraceful if it won't be in England, right? But unfortunately, this is my whole bugbear with the Middle East. Once you've opened the floodgates for certain fights to be there, every big fight will want to be there because you'll be looking at it saying, why can't I earn this? Right? If I'm going to get 5 times the money in a certain country, why would I refuse that? And that's what promoters are going to think, right? And that's what fighters are going to think. People are saying the weather in the UK is too cold and wet in December. Listen, it's not that bad anymore in December. Call it climate change, call it whatever you want. It gets really bad really January, February, March. December is not really that bad. It's not even that cold. And people watch football matches at that time. So the weather's not an issue. Apparently Wales, the Principality Stadium, is the stadium that's been offered. Great stadium. But can I see Anthony Joshua fighting Tyson Fury there in December? No. The location has to be the Middle East. I don't want it to be, right? But I'm only telling you what I think is the only option here. So I believe the location and venue will be a problem. Number 3, too much bad blood between both teams. Right. These are just facts, right? There was too much bad blood, right? Too much ego, too much testosterone, too much things that have happened in the past for this fight to get over the line in a few months, right? Let's rewind back 2 years, right? Eddie Hearn was doing his brains in, gallivanting around the Middle East, begging them to take this fight. And to be honest with you, they want this fight. Saudi wanted Fury and Joshua. The Middle East want it, right? They want to put the fight there. Eddie was doing his nutting. Every day we were getting constant updates for 6 months. Eddie Hearn says it's going to be ready in 2 weeks. Frank Roman says they've not received an offer. They have received an offer. They're sending it back. The fax machine's broken. The pen's not working. Every fucking excuse under the sun. It was just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And unfortunately, history is repeating itself. Right? That fell apart. It fell apart because Tyson Fury had to go through with his rematch with Deontay Wilder. So Eddie Hearn would have been thinking he's done all that work for nothing. And I think Tyson Fury came out with a video laughing and mocking, saying, you sucker, you sucker. So he's not going to take too well to that, is he? No, he's not. Fast forward a year and a half after that, you've got the step-aside money for AJ and Usyk, right? This was last year. Anthony Joshua had a rematch clause with Usyk, right? Tyson Fury's team said he wanted to fight Usyk. They were going to give AJ step-aside money. Again, Eddie Hearn was doing his nutting, right? They were offered step-aside money. They weren't. AJ was demanding more money. He wasn't demanding money. Again, they couldn't get it over the line. And again, Tyson Fury came out with a video mocking Eddie Hearn. Now, that might have been this one, not the one after when the Saudi fight fell through. It might have been this one. He was laughing and mocking him, saying, you sucker, and all this. So, Eddie Hearn is not the kind of man who's going to let someone mug him off. He's not. That's just the fact of it, right? So, history tells you that these two teams can't negotiate, right? Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren were meant to go for a dinner 2 years ago. We're still waiting for that dinner to happen. It's absolutely unbelievable how two of the best promoters in the game who live in the same city have never met each other and can't go out for a drink. Boys, go out for a drink, right? Talk it through like men. What is wrong with you? It's just unbelievable. Just get on the fucking phone and say, hi, Frank, let's go out for a drink and let's sort this out. Or vice versa. Frank, get on the phone to Eddie. Say, hi, Eddie, let's go for a drink and sort this out. It's fucking unbelievable. Sort it out. Too much bad blood. And I fear that Tyson and Frank are coming out with this just to get one over Eddie. Just to let him know, listen, we're top boys now, right? We're going to dictate to you instead of the other way around. That's what I think this is. Number 4, the split. The good old split. I mean, we've got to be sick of that word in boxing. For me, I don't want to hear about splits on social media, right? Because that indicates to me this it's not serious talk. It's just talk for fucking publicity, right? It should be done. The deal should get ironed out and it should be announced. I don't want to keep hearing splits. But I did say on my video before Tyson came out with it that he would demand 60-40, which he did. Do I think it's a fair offer? In boxing terms, yes, of course it is, because AJ's coming off 2 losses. Right, he's not the champion. It's a voluntary defence. Fury's giving him a chance for the WBC heavyweight title. But boxing doesn't work like this. Right, it's not about belts. It's not about records. It's not about how good you are. It's about what you bring to the table commercially. And AJ brings more to the table commercially than any fighter out there that Tyson Fury can fight. That is the cold hard fact of the situation. Why do you think he's calling AJ out? He's just lost 2 fights. Why is he not calling Hergovitz out? Why is he not calling Joe Joyce out? Why? Because he wants to cash out. He wants the biggest amount of money as possible. And Anthony Joshua brings that to the table. So why is he going to bring that to the table for Tyson Fury to earn 60%? Right, now people can say he's not the champion or that. It doesn't matter. Anthony Joshua, for me, is the second biggest draw in boxing behind Canelo. That's it. Tyson is a big draw. He is. He's not in that conversation. That is a conversation that only 2 men can be talked about him. And that's Canelo and AJ. Yes, Tyson's a megastar. He is, right? But commercially, he's not as big as Anthony Joshua. That is the fact. Just like Floyd, Canelo and Conor McGregor wouldn't take 40% of any of their fights because they will say, listen, I'm the money man. That's how it works, right? you've got to look at it like this. If AJ was to lose this fight, and if he was to get taken out, then that's 3 losses in a row. That could be end of the career stuff. It is end of career stuff, right? The zone have thrown money at him, right? They will want a return on that investment. They're not going to feed him to Tyson Fury, right? Especially when they're being dictated to. Not going to happen. They will want to broadcast the event. They won't want to split it, and they will want the biggest amount of money as possible. And as I said before, that only exists in the Middle East. So there's no way DAZN, after throwing all this money, that they're going to let Anthony Joshua fight Tyson Fury next and be dictated to. Same with Eddie Hearn. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, right? If you think it's fair or not, you've got to look at the reality of the situation. If you're AJ and Eddie Hearn, you want the maximum amount of money possible, right? You want the biggest amount of money that you can get, right? That's why he fought Usyk in the rematch, because even in defeat, he got ridiculous, obscene amount of money. There's no way he would have fought Usyk in the rematch in the UK. Absolutely no way, right? That fight was only going to happen in the Middle East, right? And same with this, because if he was to get beat, it damages the brand, right, tremendously, right? So they will want to know they are getting absolutely ridiculous money. It's an off. They need to be offered money that they can't say no to. They need an offer they can't refuse, right? Never mind 60-40. It's bullshit. It's bullshit, right? Get on there, call the bluff, say, we'll give you 50-50. How about that, right? You've got to make them, entice them. And people may say, well, he's giving AJ a favour. Listen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. AJ can make money fighting anyone, to be quite honest with you. Tyson can't. He can't, right? AJ is the biggest draw commercially. I love Tyson, right? He is a megastar, but I'm talking about that big global star. AJ is the bigger draw. If he would have come out and said 50-50, right, I could have thought, right, okay, he's serious about this. But I don't believe that's the case. So I don't believe that, and that's one of the reasons why I don't think this fight happens next. I fear it's all for publicity. I really do. If you look at how Tyson's coming out with the videos, it's like a smugness on his face. It's like, I'm going to dictate, right? Champion privileges, champion and challenger privileges. I'm going to pay AJ 40%. It's like, mate, you and Frank Warren aren't going to pay AJ 40%. It's not how this works. We all know it, right? People who might not be clued up in boxing might be looking at it going, yeah, it's a great offer, take it. You've lost 2 fights in a row. It's more than fair. It's not the case. If you know Eddie Hearn and you know how his business model works and you know how he works traditionally, right, especially with AJ, Tyson Fury ain't paying AJ, right? Believe me, people like AJ, they command money. They don't get dictated to. Just like Conor McGregor, just like Canelo, just like Floyd Mayweather, as I said before, they do not get dictated to. And Tyson very well knows it, right? And it's happened a lot throughout history where Tyson Fury will mention AJ's name just before a fight or just before he's got a fight announcement, right? I just think it's for publicity, right? That's what I believe. I believe he's going to announce a fight in December, and you've got all this talk in the background, AJ Fury, and it's all talk. Look, we're all talking about it, right? He gets everyone talking, but we've been here before. We've seen it, right? It's just, I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of talking about it. I just want to see the fight, right? Announce it, don't announce it. That's what I always say in these videos, right? But I feel it's just a publicity stunt, the way they're coming across. Like, it's just the words champion privileges and I'm going to pay AJ 40%. That's taking the piss. It's taking the piss. If it was deadly serious, you'll come up and say, let's make the fight happen. Let's go 50-50, right? Or at least say 60-40 and then negotiate. But it's the little, it's the words. It's I'm going to pay AJ and this and that, mate. With all due respect, you ain't paying AJ, right? That's just the fact of it, right? So I think it's a bit of a piss take, right? And it's all for publicity. Number 5. This fight is bigger in a year's time. Let's discuss this. Yes, this fight is a monster. It'll always be a monster, right? But AJ is coming off 2 losses, right? Does anyone really think he's going to beat Tyson Fury next, right? He's going to be an underdog, right? A lot of people will favour Tyson Fury. If Anthony Joshua rebounds and has 2 good wins, he has more time to adapt with his trainer, Robert Garcia. You could see improvements in the Usyk fight. You could see improvements. So he's going to improve even more a year down the line or 18 months down the line, right? If Tyson beats Usyk, and it's a big if, and he gets the belts, then you've got an all-British, undisputed heavyweight title fight. Right, that is history making. Right, that makes the fight bigger. AJ won't be coming off losses. He'll be coming off wins. If he looks good, again, people are going to think, well, Usyk's a smaller man, he's slippery. Tyson's bigger. Maybe AJ's got a bigger chance. You know, it marinates the fight. Now, yes, I can understand people saying it doesn't need marinating. We're sick of it. Just fucking strike while the iron's hot and fight. I get that, and I agree with it. But it is a bigger fight if Fury gets that belt from Usyk. It is, because then you can sell it as an undisputed heavyweight world championship fight, right? Between 2 UK fighters. That's sexy. Gets the juices flowing, right? And I fear that's what they'll want to do, because if it gets bigger, there's more money. Guess what? Hi, Saudi. Give us as much money as possible. Here you go. That's it. That's the fact of it. So those are the 5 reasons I believe this fight won't happen next. I'm more than happy to be wrong. I hope to God I am, but I don't believe I will be. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with what I say? Will it happen next? Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know.